WikiAfrica Hour, where Africa's Wikimedians talk to, learn from, and discuss with each other topics they choose. Each session is curated by African Wikimedians to expand Africa's open movement. Today's host is Ceslas Obanyaya.
Hello, friends of free knowledge. I'm very glad to welcome you all to episode 19 of WikiAfrica Hour, titled Free, Open, and Cool. My name is Ceslas Obonaya, and I'm your host. Some people are of the opinion that the Wikimedia movement is, in quote, a boring movement just because we do a lot of writing and all that. Without these people knowing that some of the coolest tools known to mankind actually exist in the Wikimedia movement. Yes, they do. A good number of these tools had been in existence for some time before the curation of the first Wikimedia Coolest Tool Award in 2019. This award is aimed at recognizing the work of the developers who designed these tools, the features and characteristics of these tools, and how they help us to do our work in the Wikimedia space. The 2022 Wikimedia Coolest Tool Award is happening today, and we shall be having a watch party for that. But before then, we will be learning a bit about tools in the Wikimedia space from our special guests. Today we have Egbe Eugene Agbor from Cameroon. Eugene is a volunteer developer in the Wikimedia movement. He is a member of Wikimedia Cameroon. And not just that, he has also worked with open source communities like CVCRM. He was also a volunteer developer on Wikispeech with Wikimedia SE. He developed and is maintaining the Form Wizard extension for the Media Wiki. He is also one of the folks behind the ISA2 development and maintenance. He recently has been involved in the development of Scribe 2, and he is currently assisting the Africa Wikimedia Developers Project as technical lead, and also mentoring developers under the Wiki Mentor Africa program. Please welcome our special guests as we engage him. Hello, Eugene. Thank you for being here today.
Pleasure is mine, Ceslas. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's it's always interesting. And then, can you maybe in a line or two introduce yourself briefly, very briefly?
All right. I always do this. I always do Eugene Egbe, and I seek to know everything that I can know. So I'm basically a software engineer, and in the Wikimedia movement, I play the role of a volunteer developer, and at times I'm recruited as contractor by affiliates and other non-profit organizations.
What a very decent way to put out your mighty profile in software engineering. Thank you, Eugene, for that brief introduction. You have been a volunteer Wikimedia developer for quite some time now. What does a volunteer developer do in the Wikimedia space?
All right. I'll always tell people everything we do in the open movement is for a good cause as developers. So the idea of volunteering as a developer basically is to sort out issues or problems faced either by community members or organizations and try to provide a simple and straightforward solution to solve these issues. So generally, activities for developers are depending on their mission, but principally around certain areas such as bug fixing and feature improvement and addition. So there's also design and implementation of tools. So when you face a particular issue or you identify a particular problem on the platform, which could easily be solved with the creation of a tool, then you can go ahead and design and implement your tool. So developers not only participate in development of tools, they also promote these free tools because There are some tools developed in the Wikimedia movement, for example, which are used out of the Wikimedia movement by other non-profit communities such as ours. Developers can also, as volunteers, seek to increase the quality of existing tools. So a tool may not be functioning well, and maybe the data quality is not up to standard, or maybe there is vandalism or stuff. So that could be the major task of a or activity of a volunteer developer. And one most exciting thing which I discovered is that you cannot learn without sharing the same knowledge. So volunteer developers also do a lot of mentorship. So while mentoring newcomers and other community members who are volunteer developers in the Wikimedia community, you learn a lot and get to know a lot as well. I think that's that's what I can say in brief.
That's interesting. Describing extensively the kind of problems that you guys solve in the movement. And yes, I know I have seen some Canadian researchers using some of the tools that were developed by the Wikimedia movement. So it's always interesting seeing that these tools don't just solve our own problems as Wikimedians; they also go ahead to solve the problem of the entire humanity, if I would say, for anybody who cares to
Sure.
use them. Thank you for that explanation.
No worries.
Eugene, steadily you've mentioned tool. How can one define a tool in the Wikimedia context? What is a tool?
Okay, in a purely technical sense, a tool could just be simply a computer program which is designed to implement or designer implemented to solve a particular issue in the community. In our basic context of the Wikimedia community, we know content creation is one of the big pluses. So we could either create a tool to create to add content, to improve on existing content, or to assemble content in the case where we're categorizing or for to ease indexing. And we can also create tools to maintain other tools and for the support and data provision for other tools. So the range is so wide, but the simple conception is a tool goes to solve a problem. So it's just a technical implementation of a program to solve a particular problem in the community.
Thank you. I I sort of was thrown off guard. Like you could have a tool for the purpose of maintaining other tool or some other tools.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a very that's a very interesting one. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for highlighting that. Uh, Tools
Sure.
developed by Wikimedians and sometimes non-Wikimedians have been adopted, of course, for usage, like you mentioned, both within the Wikimedia space and outside. Eugene, is there a laid down process for developing a tool and having that particular tool adopted by the movement? Please share with us.
Okay. I'll just start by saying that the solution to a problem regarding a volunteer developer depends on them. So whatever solution you provide, it depends on you, and whatever process you use, yeah, it depends on you. And I'll just talk about the processes I always employ while solving such issues. Generally, there is no specific process which is compelled to be used in the Wikimedia tech space, but there are some good engineering principles which have been adopted because doing formation as an engineer, there's many processes which you can make use of to develop the particular tools or projects which you want to implement. So I will start a little bit about and identify. I'll talk a little bit about identifying the problem. Since we're in a community, there's challenges with using the platform and maybe data entry and stuff. So some people generally say the space is a bit complicated to use. That's the platform, the wikis. So let's just think of the fact that you identify the problem and you want to solve. What process will you likely use? So we always say there is identification of the problem, there's design, there's a step where you develop the test, send it for community validation and all the like. Then you deploy and continue maintaining the tool. But then this process, most at times in the Wikimedia tech space or the Wikimedia movement, is an iterative process where the tool is mostly in these steps repeatedly followed. So design, you can redesign, you can develop again in iterations and then test. I'll take an example in the ISA tool that actually was the first tool I experienced development and that's communication between the community and the tech team. So in essence, a feature will come up which it could be redefined, redesigned. We have to develop severally test. It doesn't work, we come again and redesign, test. So this process is straightforward but iterative. So I think those steps are the necessary things you should follow. But a stress should be placed on the users, because the users will always give you the correct feedback you need. But those steps of design, definition of the problem, design, development, test, and deployment are the things to focus on, but in an iterative manner. So each time you develop a small package, you send it to the community for validation or maybe comments, and then you get a feedback. You will repeat the loop.
That sounds like quite a cycle. You don't just get an idea about a tool and then run with it. You have to nurture the idea, figure out how you can, take the first step towards
Sure.
getting the design of the ground and all that. That's an interesting detail you just shared with us, Eugene. Thank you
Thank you.
so very much. And then looking at the various past winners of the Coolest 2 award, I couldn't help but notice that these tools, they have various categories, and Eugene, I must confess, some of those categories threw me off balance. I saw something like egg beater. I saw something like outreach, tiny, and the rest of them. Could you please help us understand, this categorization process for these tools?
Okay, so to easily identify the tools that are developed in the movement and their functions, these tools are categorized actually. So there are editing tools, there are maintenance tools, there's data, there's other services. That's a tool that can service another tool, that can provide data for another tool and stuff like that. But generally, these categories are just names which have been identified to maybe easily locate these tools and easily know what they do, and easily provide also the criteria for which this tool is considered. So these categories, I would say, touch a few aspects in the community. And generally, I don't stress on those categories because they name themselves. I don't master. But there are some qualities I always look for in a tool. So I
Nice.
always look at the fact that a tool should be of good experience to its user. So there's actually a concept I faced while developing one of the tools I worked on previously, where I replicated kind of the workflow from the wikis. So it was similar to a wiki tool, and one user left a comment after using the tool that it's not different from the platform, which is already difficult to use. So, so we had to revisit this tool, redesign it in a simpler a simpler step tool. So that's one good quality of a tool in the community. So it should be easy to use, and also content should be guaranteed. It should guarantee quality content, since the platform itself guarantees the wikis themselves guarantee quality content due to patrolling and all the like. Your tool should guarantee, despite the fact that it's easy to use and everyone else can just get along with the tool, it should also employ measures to guarantee quality of content. Another very important thing I can quickly think of is diversity. We are in a large community, and if you design a tool and focuses on a particular community, which should definitely address a global problem, then something is wrong. So a tool should be built in such a way that it helps variety of people, so a greater set of people in the community, and also the tool could be accessed in many languages. So if you look at the trend recently, you notice that every tool that is developed, there's a request for multi-language functionality. So that's to ensure that users of many other language wikis could also access the tool. So that's one particular quality that I employ in my tools. Uh, Another thing is a tool should not be distracting. It should not be distractive. So it should focus on a particular issue and solve the particular problem. For example, in the ISA tool, which is a micro contribution tool, used to enter metadata to commons using Wikidata labels and descriptions. What we did is we target a particular platform to get data from there and add to commons. For example, now in this case, if the tool wasn't specific, let's say we have data from Wikidata and one other database somewhere, and then there's need to consolidate this tool, the tool is no longer specific. So we needed to have consolidated the data before presenting to the users. So in that case, the tool becomes complicated. Maybe users will not understand, the developers themselves will not understand, and the product consumers will not really follow. So the tool should be specific, should solve a particular issue, and address to the user the way it should be. And also, this tool should be easily maintainable, because we are facing a problem. We are facing a problem that people just developers just design and implement a tool and then just leave it there. When you see the tool is kind of, maybe you prefer to redesign and implement a new tool rather than maintaining that particular tool. And one other quality which I uh, recently acquired knowledge for is that a tool could be easily reusable. So if you design a tool, for example, for Wiki in Africa, another organization out of the movement per se, which who has a mission of the same mission as Wiki in Africa, should be able to adapt the tool in their context. So in essence, those are the qualities that I always employ in a tool. And if you look at these categories, those names, the funny names like Egbe is actually just the category of a tool that has lasted for a very long time. Probably, I think they consider 10 years to be the minimum. Those categories are just names and are placed there for easily identification of these tools. Yeah, I think that's all. That's what I can say concerning.
Yeah, thank you. I was still going to ask. I mean,
Yeah.
what category of tools, or what kind of tools are categorized as egg beta per se? But I'm happy you you already explained that, because that was the first category that really caught me off guard in terms of the the name of the category itself. And then you talked about being inclusive. A tool must be inclusive. Talk about having multilingual functionalities. I distinctively remember that feature on the ESA tool, where you can add your captions in up to, I think, 6 languages. So that is actually something to go by. I mean, people should be encouraged to use these tools in their own languages, and it makes it flexible for usage. And then the adaptability in terms of trying to not make people to unnecessarily start building new tools, new communities, new initiatives that maybe have common interests and objectives should be able to maybe adapt a particular tool easily. Thank you for that explanation, Eugene. And just before we see if you have time to do the news before moving to the watch party, uh, you actually mentioned the features of a particular or some tools in the movement, or the features of, I mean, a general tool in the movement. Looking at the cool tool award itself, what features do you think a tool should possess in order to maybe be considered a cool tool?
Okay, I'll just give you two of them.
Okay.
As a developer, the advice I'll give other developers while developing tools is that it should be, first of all, straightforward. Get to the problem, solve it, right? And it should be done. The process should be easier than the wikis, because based on experience, the wikis are quite complicated for new users. So it should be easy to use, and it should solve the problem. The problem solved should be simple, and it should be done in an efficient way. So if you look at the trend generally, I work on simple tools, just simple tools, and that gets the attention of the community. So those are the characteristics I can quickly uh, mention for now. But now, if you revisit the previous question, I mentioned specificity,
Yeah.
usability, diversity, good quality of the data, and then the experience of the user. So good user experience. So
Yeah.
with those qualities, you can easily win the coolest two award.
I specifically, could relate when you mentioned simplicity. We as a movement, we already been accused long enough for being complicated. So it's actually it's actually good have our tools as, simplified as possible to encourage about contributing. And then lastly, Eugene, um, on your own, I mean, from your experience doing this whole tool thing, um, what tools have you developed? What tools have you worked on?
Okay.
Maybe as a maintainer or as a developer. Feel free.
Well, the first tool I developed was the form wizard extension. The form wizard extension for MediaWiki. That the tool was meant to simplify uh, the workflow for applying for grants. At first we used to use Wikicode. There before there came the visual editor and all the remaining extensions, and to make the process really simple. So with that, with the form wizard was just a generic tool which could be used on all wikis to simplify a particular process to create a page on the wiki. Yeah. From there, there's so many of them, but I'll mention just just a few. There's a ISA tool, which is a micro contribution tool, which the community is so excited about using, which adds metadata to images on Commons, Wikimedia Commons. There's some there's upcoming updates on this tool, which is really really exciting for myself. It was mind blowing, where the contributions are even made easier for participants. There is also a tool which I worked on last year, which mainly Wikidata focus, which will be used to learn the German language from our local languages. So that's an example of uh, uh, the diversity functionality, and it's called the African German Phrasebook. So you see African German, that's the link, and it's multilingual. So the tool is hosted already, and there's lots of users around the tool. So now it's just basic phrases and they like, and there's so many tools in the pipeline. So we just go about, as tool developers, we go about looking for issues in the communities which we can address with our skills.
That's an interesting, very interesting rundown talking about the form wizard. I mean, you were inspired by, having the grant application process better. And then I'm particularly interested in this African German language book. I hope to see it come to light. For some of us who are language enthusiasts, maybe we want to brush up our German or pick up new language in the movement, and hopefully this African German language
Facebook.
book,
Yeah.
okay, African
Phrase.
German phrase book, okay,
Yeah.
maybe it would expand into getting other languages inculcated. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Eugene. I wish we have too much time on our hands. We would have maybe had some community questions or some people from our audience asking questions. But then, once if we can at least share the news updates for today before we jump into the watch party.
Sure. My pleasure. Anytime. No, I'm always available.
Of course, we'll be looking forward to grabbing you next time. Maybe when the African German phrase book goes live, you have to come here and, I mean, give us the insider scoop on the functionalities and the prospects. Yes. Thank you so
All
much,
right. You're
Eugene.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
The pleasure is always ours. And with that, want to see if we can rush through the news items for today. Uh, Nani, would you be able to help me today? Hi, Nani. I think you are muted if you're talking.
Hi, Seslas. I can definitely help you with audio, but unfortunately, I have to keep my camera off. In South Africa, we are
That's fine.
experiencing load shedding, stage 6. So I do not have electricity or light at the moment, but I am here
That
with audio,
that's fine.
definitely.
We'll make do with your voice then. And the
Thank you.
first item is to reiterate that the Wiki Loves Africa 2023 International Photo Contest will be happening under the climate and weather theme. In case you need a rapid grant and you missed the 1st December deadline, please, you might be able to catch up by submitting a rapid grant. Over to you.
The 2022 Wiki Loves Women She Said campaign on WikiQuote is ongoing. Go to Wiki Loves Women meta page to learn more and participate. The deadline is the 31st of December 2022.
The Ombudsman Commission and the Case Review Committee are looking for members. People are encouraged to nominate themselves or encourage others they feel should contribute to these groups to do so. Please write in English to the Trust and Safety Team at ca@wikimedia.org to apply to the Ombudsman Committee, or to the legal team at legal@wikimedia.org to apply to the Case Review Committee. Deadline for applications is 31st December in any time zone.
The Wiki Love Sport 2022 by Wikidon is currently ongoing. You're welcome to participate. Deadline is the 20th of December 2022.
And we are excited to remind you that the global conference for Wikimedia, known as Wikimania 2023, will be happening in Singapore from 16th to 19th August 2023.
The Wikimania Steering Committee is welcoming expressions of interest from community groups to host Wikimania in 2024 and beyond. Send your application to wikimania@wikimedia.org. Submissions are accepted until December 16th, 2022, which is today.
Yeah, please endeavor to send in before the end of today in your respective time zones. The AfroCine project is happy to inform everyone about the ongoing months of African cinema contest, which is happening between the months of November and December 2022. Participants and communities are invited to improve content on Wikipedia, specifically info boxes related to African cinema. To indicate your interest in participating, please go to the AfroCine project page to list your name or your community's name.
Movement Charter Drafting Committee is inviting community members to fill an anonymous survey to give feedback and thoughts on the content of the Movement Charter. The survey will close on January 2nd, 2023 at 23:59 UTC.
Thank you very much for your help, Noni. And we now count down into the watch party for the 2022 Wikimedia Coolest 2 Awards. I'm excited to see who wins what, and especially excited to see who would win within the egg beater category, my favorite category. Thank you.
It's falling
Hello and welcome to the fourth edition of the Wikimedia Coolest Tool Award. It's time once again to celebrate the awesome work of our amazing technical community.
Tools are at the heart of what we do here at Wikimedia. So each year, we ask our community to nominate their favorite tools.
For us, a tool is simply a piece of software used in our community to perform a task. This can be a bot, a gadget, user script, APIs, mobile applications, extensions, websites, and web services.
It is said that to create the best of anything, you need a bit of everyone. Our tools are created, maintained, and supported by a diverse number of amazing people around the world. This includes writing code, design, testing, documentation, reporting bugs, or showing others how to use a tool. This is a celebration of our technical contributors as much as it is about the tools they give us.
A big thanks goes to all of you who nominated your favorite tools. Now let's go meet the winners.
Citation! 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 Citation. 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 Citation.
Citation Hunt, a fun tool for quickly browsing and source snippets on Wikipedia. If you are new to editing and are wondering where to start getting your feet wet, Citation Hunt is also for you. Wikipedia articles require reliable, published sources that directly support the information presented in an article. Citation Hunt gamifies this process by helping editors provide sources for unsourced snippets in an article. Let's take a look at it. Citation Hunt also comes in several languages. As you can see here, you first need to make sure you are logged in. It allows browsing snippets randomly or by article, categories, or topic. In this case, let's look at the topic FIFA World Cup. So we see a snippet that's not sourced. So in order to provide a source, we can just click, I got this. And it takes us directly to the snippets. We can just click edit source. And we'll make sure our cursor is well positioned. Then with the help of the referencing toolbar, we select the templates, in this case, the web URL. We paste in our URL, title, website name, and we set our source. And just like that, we provided a source. If we preview, we see our citation. And the Citation Hunt also provides a leaderboard to keep track of the top editors in the last 30 days. That's pretty cool. And that's Citation Hunt.
Citation. Citation.
More menu is a gadget script which adds a drop-down menu to pages that are not special pages. The drop-down offers many useful links to advanced tools for Wikimedians in one single place. With 2 clicks, you can access page-related blogs, several analytics tools and statistics about the page, check and improve links and references on the page, move or purge it, or listed subpages. If you go to a user page, there is a second drop-down with links to logs about the actions of this user, several statistics about the user, and links to their uploads, groups, rights, and thanks. This tool provides a simple and convenient way to get quick access to common actions. For example, when you want to check a potential copyright violation or look into other historical data. The tool is available in many languages, and you can also customize links by editing your common.js page. Thank you for this cool tool.
PetScan is a powerful and flexible tool for creating a collection of wiki pages using categories, page properties, Wikidata, and more. Here's an example. Lately, I've been into acoustic guitars. We can start with the Wikipedia category, acoustic guitars, and let's get all the articles in the subcategories and sub-subcategories as well. That's category depth 2. And we get 617 results. Now, the results have a lot of musicians, which is not what I was looking for. I want articles about the acoustic guitar, but not musicians who happen to play guitar. So I can add a few negative categories, and it will exclude those. I don't want articles from acoustic guitarists or classical guitarists or composers for the classical guitar. That's good. Now I have 120 articles. And they're really focused on acoustic guitars and important compositions for acoustic guitar. But let's say I want to focus on images. I want to know which articles lack a lead image. That's one of the things I can do from the Page Properties tab. Only articles with no lead image. No. And there are 55 of them. You can do similar things with templates. Let's say I want every page with Infobox guitar model. So here it is, every page that has that template, 253 of them. And you can use wiki links as well, finding pages that are linked from or that link to any page or set of pages. You can even use Sparkle queries from the Other Sources tab. It's also a tool worth building on. Developed by All-Star tool developer Magnus Manske as a more powerful replacement for the older category-based tool CatScan, it was rewritten a few years ago in the language Rust. In addition to the web interface, it can output results in a number of machine-readable formats like CSV, JSON, and Wikitext. And every time you run a query, you'll get a PetScan ID for that query. So you can run the same query again later. And if the data has changed, you'll get updated results. I'm just one of the people who build on the power of PetScan in my own tools. I've integrated PetScan into Programs and Events dashboard. So if you're running an event where you only care about edits to a certain set of articles, if you can figure out the right PetScan query to represent the articles you care about, you can use that to limit the statistics to just edits to those articles that PetScan finds. And don't worry, PetScan has plenty of documentation on Meta.
You are a developer and you wrote a patch which changes software behavior in MediaWiki or one of its extensions. You published your patch for review in Wikimedia Garret, and you want others to easily test your changes without everyone having to set up a local test instance of MediaWiki. Here comes Patch Demo. Patch Demo allows other developers and users to quickly see what a patch changes in the user interface. Paste the number of your patch in Garret and select the configuration of your MediaWiki test instance. Select a language or content from a Wikipedia to import into your test instance. After your MediaWiki test instance has been created, check the result of your patch. For comparison, here's the same page on a live wiki without the patch applied. Patch Demo makes quality assurance easier, as anyone can quickly test a patch in a clean environment. Congratulations!
A lot of different tools exist to see various information about IP addresses. A geolocation service, the WHOIS database, Stalktoy, and others. Thankfully, there's a new tool, Bullseye, created by General Notability, makes it possible to display all information on a single page. Bullseye is available at bullseye.toolforge.org. Once you log in there via your Wikimedia account, you can start querying. Enter any IP address you want, and Bullseye will display all information it has. You'll easily learn the geolocation of the IP address, projects where the IP address is blocked, or which ISP has the address registered. Information from IP check is also included, make it easier to judge whether the IP address is a proxy or not. Thanks to Bullseye, Czech users and administrators now no longer need to spend hours querying multiple different tools. Since 2021, all information they need is easily available in Bullseye. Congratulations to General Notability for winning the Coolest Tool Award in the category of Newcomer.
Wiki 99 is a project to create 99 Wikipedia articles of a certain topic in every language. It helps editors find out which articles they could create or edit. Wiki 99 has lists for several topic areas like food, LGBTQI+, medicine, or world history. Each list is a table. The columns show in which language Wikipedias the article for an item exists or not. The last table column is the Wikidata identifier for the item. How is this done? If you look at the wiki text of this table, you can see that it calls a module called Wiki 99 and passes the Wikidata Q identifiers for each item in the list. Then it checks in which Wikipedias an article exists for each Wikidata item. The result is shown as the table. As an editor, you can see which articles you could create in your Wikipedia. Or, if available for your language, you can use content translation to create an article by translating it from a different language. Wiki 99 helps make important knowledge consistent and available in multiple languages by guiding editors explaining what is missing. It improves language diversity in our movement. Thank you for this great tool.
Q186-186-29. Q1305486. Q233358. Q68854.
Scalia is a pretty sweet project for showing off the potential of Wikidata, and especially the effort to make Wikidata into a database of published scholarship. Here's an example. Wikipedia researcher and free software activist Benjamin Mako Hill. Scalia gives a little bio based on his Wikipedia entry and his Wikipedia article, but when you scroll down, that's where things get interesting. You get a list of publications. These are each articles that have Wikidata entries and list Mako as the author. And then you get charts of his publications over time, color-coded for whether he was first author, last author, or listed in the middle, as well as some visualizations of topics he publishes about. And you can click around from there to see more connections. For example, the topic Wikipedia. We can find other recently published research about Wikipedia, see which other authors have published a lot about this topic, and we can even find this wild co-author graph. I think there are two great uses for Scalia. You can use it to convince academics why Wikidata is important and what it's capable of, and it's also a genuinely useful tool for exploring topic areas. There's so much effort being put into adding scholarly metadata into Wikidata that it can be a useful discovery tool for research. So check it out at scalia.toolforge.org.
Twinkle is a popular gadget. It won the Coolest Tool Award 2019 in the Egbe category. If you enable Twinkle in your preferences, under Gadgets, it adds a drop-down to automate some common tasks, like reporting vandalism, warning vandals, requesting deletion or protection, or tagging articles. You can configure the exact displayed options on Twinkle's own preferences page. But how to access Twinkle if you have a small screen, for example on a mobile phone. This is where the Twinkle mobile script comes handy. It is a tiny user script which adds your Twinkle options to your user menu when you use the mobile Minerva skin. With 2 clicks, you can perform the same tasks on article pages as if you were on a bigger screen. And of course, it also works on user pages. Thanks for supporting improving Wikimedia content also on small screens, and congratulations to Twinkle Mobile.
Have you ever wondered how to upload thousands of items and files on Wikidata and Wikimedia Commons with relative ease and convenience? I present to you Open Refine. This tool helps you to conveniently navigate and explore huge data sets. As you can see here, there are 1,300 proofs, which means 1,300 potential items that could be uploaded on Wikidata using this tool. This tool also helps you to clean and transform data, and it also helps you to match and reconcile data to already existing Wikidata items, as you can see here. The tool also has a feature called the schema, where you can actually edit the schema for the Wikidata item that you'd want to upload on Wikidata. Through the schema feature, you can actually determine the properties and the statements that you want your items to contain before uploading them to Wikidata. There is also a feature that helps you to upload your items directly to Wikidata, which is the Upload Edits to Wikidata feature. Then there is also the Export to Quick Statements feature that helps you to upload items to Wikidata via quick statements. Thanks to these and its other many wonderful features, the tool wins the Egg Beta category for the 2022 Coolest Tool Award. We say a big thank you to the dedicated community committed to improving the tool and the developers for developing such a cool tool.
Created articles. A collection of notebooks to analyze articles created by a user on Wikipedia. Wikibooks printable version. A multilingual module that automatically creates a Wikibook print version from its table of contents, complete with navigation. Thank you for joining us and see you next year.
Katıldığınız için teşekkürler. Seneye görüşmek üzere.
Yedamwase, Yebeshia Afisese.
Wow, who knew that the Wikimedia space had all these cool tools hidden before? Because before now, and I'm sure a good number of us didn't know they existed. Talk about Twinkle, talk about Wiki 99, and a whole lot of others. You have seen these tools and a glimpse into their functionalities, and we hope you took notes and can always refer back to them for your respective works in the Wikimedia movement. On behalf of the Wiki in Africa team, I say thank you to our guest speaker in the person of Egbe Eugene, and for everybody who found to follow the session. And till next time, or precisely till next year, I remain your host, Ceslos Obunaya. Have a good evening.
This episode of WikiAfrica Hour was hosted by Ceslaus Obanaya. Let us know what topics you want to discuss and join us next month on the same channels. Subscribe to the Wiki in Africa YouTube channel and follow WikiAfrica on social media.